This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is the only daily podcast which curates 4 top compliance, ethics, and/or corruption stories for your listening and viewing pleasure if you're watching this on YouTube. We daily look at some of the top stories, and it gives you a great way to start your day around compliant ethics and sometimes corruption. So check out the Daily Compliance News. It's on the Compliance Podcast Network. Also, if you haven't done so, please check out AI Today in 5, where I look at 5 AI compliance-related stories on a daily basis as well. Thank you. The Daily Compliance News for September 8, 2025, the Using AI to Detect AI edition. We begin with that story from the New York Times Deal Book, which says that AI-generated fake expense reimbursements, or receipts rather, that are used for expense reimbursements are becoming a big problem, and companies are having to use AI to detect AI. So it wasn't long. They've been cheating on expense accounts since expense accounts were created. This is just one more example of it. But you got to use AI to fight AI. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, as the tariffs instituted by President Trump have now been declared illegal, and the case goes to the Supreme Court, many importers are looking at refunds to file after the Supreme Court decision, assuming the Supreme Court follows the law, although that does not appear to be a high priority for this Supreme Court. Nevertheless, it's going to be a huge payout by the U.S. government. No word on whether consumers will be reimbursed from companies who have increased their prices based upon the tariffs. Next up from the Financial Times, more corruption stories from China. And here, the FT reports that China's anti-graft watchdog has launched an investigation into the former chair of the country's securities regulator. Yi Huimin was ousted from his post as chair and party secretary of the Chinese Securities Regulatory Commission last year amid a steep drawdown in the domestic stock market. Before leading this, he was the chair of the state-owned Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, whose former executives had been targeted in corruption probes over the past few years. The Central Commission for Discipline Inspection on Saturday said Yi was suspected of serious violations of discipline and law, a phrase often used in corruption probes, and was under investigation. And we know what under investigation means. In China, it means you're about to be thrown in jail. I'm sure President Trump would appreciate that. Next up, are you a corrupt West African dictator, elected president, who is on the sanctions list, but you want to come to the U.S.? Well, come on down. As the Trump administration is set to give the African leader accused of pilfering his impoverished country's resources to live a lifestyle of luxury cars, mansions, and super yachts a pass to come onto U.S. soil to go to the opening of the UN. 2 U.S. officials said the State Department is processing a 1-month sanctions waiver for Vice President of Equatorial Guinea, yes, Teddy Obiang. He is coming to the U.S. Of course, maybe he's here to bump up the economy. Having stolen so much money from his country, he can afford to do anything or purchase pretty much anything, including Michael Jackson's famous glove. So you're corruption, you're corrupt, you're on the sanctions list, you're a politically exposed person, the U.S. doesn't want to do business with you. No worries under the Trump administration. Just pay some big fee, make a donation, or maybe even invest in crypto. Come on down. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.